No questions so far.
Hi everybody, to end this FS4A Academy on a light-headed note. My name is Tibor Kezeli, I'm the person behind Formula Student Alpe Adria, and my goal right now is to do a little Formula Student Guide 101 for newbies and those who feel that way. With me is a panel of important experts from Alpe Adria and TU Graz, Christian Ablasa and Markus Plechberger, who will help me answer any of your questions if you will have them. Also, guys, if you have anything that you want to contribute to the presentation, please do it. And also everybody here in the room, because we have firstly the person who made Formula Student Austria, and also a lot of people here who are quite interested in that way, they can join and they can help us with the interviews and the questions. Not yet. The first thing is a short summary. We have 5 topics that we concluded are probably the most important ones when you are starting a new team or doing a restructuring of any way. After that, we have a Q&A session that is, in our mind, a priority, but if there won't be any questions, we'll just go to other topics that we have. Something fell down, it's all good. To start, the first thing that we want to do is, when you are trying to start a new team, the first thing that you need to do is, of course, defining clear goals. The clear goals that you need to define are, of course, your team objectives. What is your main objective? Hi, somebody entered. You need to aim for realistic targets. You need to know what your strengths are. If your team is strong enough to enter a competition the first year, or if you can maybe just do like a concept session, only do the static disciplines. It's been a long day at Formula FS4A Academy, so if you hear some things in the background, I think it is the beers talking, not the people. So I'm sorry for that account. To continue the presentation. The other point that is really important is resource alignment. You need to know how many resources do you have. Depending on where your team is placed, it's not the similar thing if you are starting a team in, let's say, Austria or Germany, where Formula Student is a little bit more renowned than, let's say, in the southeastern part where my team was coming from. The last part that is quite also important to say is the motivation and direction. If you are the person who is starting the team, which I believe at least somebody who is watching the stream is, you need to communicate a really good goal to your team. You need to transfer the motivation to your potential team members, and you need to show them the vision that you have and just sell it to them firstly. Because in order to start a team, you firstly need to have a team itself. We had a question before this presentation started, how to start a team with one person and one person only, and I would say you probably can't, but if you are probably Elon Musk, then maybe you can try, right?
I would.
You would, yeah, exactly, yeah. The cost scheme of FSA. Do you guys have anything else to add in terms of defining the clear goals in the beginning?
I think we already have said that in the presentation before, but it's like at the beginning, if you're really starting with a new team, I would say like it's not having a look to what the best teams are doing always and copying everything, because as I said, like if you build an electric car with everything own developed in the first year, you will not get it. So really start it simple at the beginning. Set the goal like you're building a car, that the car is reliable and it is running, and set yourself the goal that at one competition you can positively go through the scrutineering and having a look there that you can run in dynamics, and then afterwards increasing the complexity of the car.
Yeah.
Maybe one additional point is to just to just really get the foundation right, like the knowledge and know what you do, because don't copy anything you see from other teams. You won't believe how many well-known teams do things just because they saw it somewhere and don't really understand it, and that's not the right approach. And if you want to be successful in the long term, really try to get that foundation and build on that. And yeah, from there on, you can really have your long-term goals, mid-term goals, and meet them. As long as you really try to understand what you do and don't push too hard and too soon into some concepts that are maybe unrealistic at the moment.
And also have a lot of team buildings as a clear goal, because in order to have a good motivated team you need to communicate and drink together a lot, work together a lot. Nobody heard
Water.
that. Water, of course, yeah. In the terms of building a team and building a strong team structure, it's really important that you first, like in any company, develop roles and responsibilities. What that means is that you need to assign roles for each specific part of the team that you have. When you are a small team and you are only starting or you are only part of restructuring your old team, the major point which can break you if the people do not know what they have to do. So a really good management perspective is really to write everything down on the paper, see what the perspective of each people in your team are, and in that regard try to play on the strengths of each and your individual team member. The other problem is, of course, communication and leadership. Communication is something that is different to everybody, and everybody has a slightly different style of communication and leadership. But if we are talking to you as a leader, you firstly need to know how to share what you want to say. You need to be direct, you need to know how to express yourself, and you also need to know how to listen. If you don't listen to the people who are working with you, in the end you won't achieve to that much. The last thing is what we are trying to do all the time in the organization of Alpe Adria is always the onboarding of new people, and I think that's one of the major aspects that a lot of really good teams do, is really get to know your onboarding procedure. Never be in a situation where somebody who is entering your team doesn't know what the team is about, and try to make everything online in a way so they can always look back and see how the structure is being done and what did you do in the past. The sustainability part is of course really important, because if you want to get a sponsor or anything like that, they always want to look at sustainability, because nobody wants to invest or give money to somebody who doesn't know what their long-term goal is. Anything to add?
It's maybe for the strong team structure. Think also about to get a good connection to people at university, because they're supporting you also during lessons at the beginning and during the lessons they're making. For example, also they let you also maybe present your project on for the team, and there you maybe also can speak to the complete faculty or university. And with that you can also get some people who are interested in the project.
Yeah, maybe my advice, sorry. My advice would be to write it down and show it off like how the team is structured and how you want the guidelines to be done and practiced in daily basis. So if you have a hierarchy or like an organigram or something, just show how the team is structured, especially in the beginning. I think this would be very beneficial if the team is building and forming itself. So yeah, that would be good information.
Really good, thank you. And we have one additional entry for Franz. So please.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Franz Bauer. I'm in the Formula Student team now for, let's say, 20 years. And I've seen a lot of new teams coming into the scene, being myself on one team when we started. And the first team, the first people you get in a team are always the crazy people, and basically this is your biggest asset. If you already are a team who has built 10 race cars and then new people come in, they know what to expect, but the ones when you start a team, they are really the enthusiasts, and you have to get these crazy people and they will then build your car, and the more people the better, because it's always a distribution between active team members and inactive team members, and the active team members are the ones who build the car. And this is not 100%, but the more crazy the people are, the higher this percentage is. Thank you.
You're welcome. We're going on to the next point, which is my dearest point, because this is the thing that I did and do right now, firstly for the retail racing team from Rijeka and now to Alpe Adria. That is always budget and sponsorship. We all live in a fantasy world when we start with Formula Student, because we are all full of ideas, motivation, and we all want to do something that nobody else has done before, but then you quickly see that a lot of the things have been done, and then you read the book by Adrian Newey, How to Build a Race Car, and then you see that, you know, race engineering is never inventing anything new, but only trying to optimize everything to the maximum. But in order to do all of that, firstly you need to have some funds to function as a team. In that regard, you need firstly to know how much money you need. In that regard, you need a detailed budget. You need to think about everything that can go in the organization and the operation of the whole team during the whole year. Not only building of the car, but also things like travel to a competition, competition costs, team building costs, marketing costs, travel costs during the year to promote the team on, let's say, car shows or other student fairs where you can gain some other visibility that is really important when you are starting a team. We had last month meeting as Alpe Adria with one team from Sarajevo that is currently starting as a new team, and one of the biggest points is really expressing what you want to do to local population and local industry that maybe never heard what Formula Student is. From my point, that is the hurdle that I worked the most with in Rijeka, because unfortunately there was not enough knowledge about the project and the beauty of the project. And from my point of view, on the seeking sponsors part is, you know, everybody has the same opinion when they start doing a Formula Student sponsorship presentation, is that, you know, Formula Student is the biggest and the most renowned engineering project in the world. And you can say all the things about the team and everything, but the main point is, in my mind, everybody can say something else in that regard because it's pretty subjective, but is to find that one topic with a potential sponsor that he likes in that whole process. It can be something that is maybe completely not connected with the project itself, but if you find that line, you pull it and you try to find a contract out of it in the end. That's the whole logic behind it, because a lot of things work for a lot of people, but in the end, a lot of things don't work for a lot of people. In the end, something that also Christian said is university resources and visibility. In order to start a team, firstly you need to be a part of a university. You need to use the university resources that they have in order to have a garage and try to, firstly, the first sponsor you need to have is the university itself. If you can't persuade the university that you are doing something to increase the practical work or of the students on their own university, to interchange the knowledge through the whole university, so with the faculties of engineering, economy and things like that, my opinion would be don't even go to the sponsors. So that's the first step that you need to do. I could talk about this topic for another 25 minutes and about my experiences with specific sponsors in Croatia, in Overboard and things like that, but I think it's pretty much subjective, and I can only distill down it to that in the end, if you are the person who is seeking the sponsorship, you are not only selling the team, you are also selling yourself. And you need to be yourself in order to really express what you feel, because if you manage to express what you feel and if you manage to express your motivation and your vision for the team, your chances get a little bit higher if you find the right person. Some people just don't care and you need to understand it. From my opinion, on 100 emails that I have sent, the cold emails, not right now, what we do is that you really find somebody who really wants to work with you. But when you are starting, you are sending cold emails. On 100 cold emails that I've sent, I got maybe 3 replies and 0 meetings. On 500 emails that I've sent, I got 2 or 3 meetings. From those 2 or 3 meetings, I got 0 money in the end. So you need to invest a lot of time to find the specific person that will invest, and the persons that will really understand what you are doing. Franz, do you want to maybe add something about sponsorship? I know what you've been when starting with the whole Formula Student League, so it's nice to get your insight also.
If you start a team, look at your at the resources, at the environment you have around your university, around your team, and what kind of companies you need to build the car. You need, I don't know, materials, grinding, welding, whatsoever, and these companies are most probably willing to sponsor if you transport the message. What are you doing? Why is it important that they support you? What is their benefit out of it? What can they expect from the people who have the experience of this Formula Student project? And this then persuades them in supporting you. And getting money, real cash, is very, very hard, especially in the beginning. It's easier to get some material sponsorship, but you always have to think about the money as well, because if you want to go to competitions, if you travel, if you have to buy beer, whatever, it is. I mean, if you have a brewery around you and this brewery is sponsoring you, perfect, but you will need some cash as well. But I think first start with the companies surrounding you, where you can get some materials that you can build the car. If you cannot build the car, then it's a little bit pointless. Yeah, that's what I have to add.
Perfect. You can also add something,
yeah,
of course.
I think you made great points. I would like to summarize a little bit. I mean, some points are similar to yours, just how I understood it and how I got into it and how I also told it my people who went into the position after I left. And it's 3 points. It's basically know your worth. Secondly, treat it as a job application. And thirdly, the power of the quote. So firstly, know your worth is basically what you mentioned. Know why the potential sponsor wants you. It may be an engineering company who seeks employees. So really dig into that topic and like inform yourself, how is the job market, is like what are the qualities that this employer wants to see in an employee, and like really embrace that your team has those people and so on. So know why the potential sponsor could sponsor you. Or maybe he's just like an enthusiast of motorsport. So you don't talk about employees, you just talk about how cool your project is, and you say to him, hey, come to the workshop, we'll show you around and you can drive it one day. So there's a lot of different motivations for different sponsors. So that's right to the second point. Treat it like a job application. Don't throw out generic mails and presentations. Really adapt the presentation and the approach to the company. As I said, an engineering company might want to see other things than, I don't know, company who does bread and cheese and just is a motorsport enthusiast, yeah? So, and as you wouldn't do with job applications. You don't throw out generic applications, you really inform yourself about the company, you want to sell yourself, treat it like a job application, and after that an interview, if you got the chance. And thirdly, the power of the quote. Just, there's some quote that in 100 mails, maybe you get 1 back or 2, or depends on what position you are or in what environment, but the more mails you write, the more of a chance that you get mails back. That's just as simple as that. And if you follow those 3 guidelines or rules, you're pretty well.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's go for it. If you have any questions during this whole presentation, there are no stupid questions, only we can be stupid in our answers. So feel free to ask whatever you want, Formula Student related, hopefully.
And I too.
Exactly, yeah. This point, so start simple and iterate often. What we wanted to say with this is don't think about the complex things when you haven't had your basics figured out. Don't start doing a monocoque when you haven't built first steel frame chassis. Don't do an EV car if you haven't done a combustion car, if you have no idea how to do a normal suspension and whatever. The whole point is that you need to focus first on reliability. Your first car is the car that you will use for the longest period of time, because that car needs to drive properly, because you need to show everybody that you are able to build that car in a normal time period. If you don't finish it in 1 year, it's not a problem. If you finish it in 2 years, it's already perfect, because to do a car from scratch in 2 years as a new team with everything that goes into it, it's a crazy achievement. When we talk about the iterative development, it means that during the development of the vehicle, because you haven't built another vehicle prior to this, you will see that you can do some things better. Also, those things, when you iterate, are really interesting to the engineering design judges, because they want to see how you develop the car during the year, and if you see something during development that you can do better. And in the end is the incremental growth, which means that you just need to have your feet strongly and firmly on the ground. If you remain with realistic targets, if you focus on what is important, if you focus on yourself and you focus on the team itself, in the end success will come. Maybe not sooner but later, but it will come. You just need to focus and you need to keep on working. I believe that everybody who is sitting here right now in this room wouldn't be in this room if there wasn't a point in their life where they could have quit, but decided not to. So that is that growth that I'm talking about. Find something that makes you happy, and also take time to rest during the takes. Guys?
Yeah, and maybe to that point, it's also good to say, like, if you're starting with a Formula Student car, starting simple, because if you're doing a very complex vehicle concept already at the beginning, it's, as Timo already said, it's already tough to build a car at the beginning if you have no knowledge and experience how a Formula Student competition is looking like. So it's like also for the team motivation itself, it's a point, because if you're setting really unrealistic goals already at the beginning, it's like also your team is not getting that motivated, because it's already seeing that it's maybe will not succeed. But if you're having a simple car at the beginning which is reliable and you keep it driving, the people will be motivated, and they will be motivated to do stuff also in the future, and you will also get some new people if they are seeing the car running. And I think it's like, for everyone who is in the room has seen his first car running on the test track, is, I think, one of the best experience really he had in his life. So I think that's also the goal.
And then the engine brakes.
That's perfectly.
The last point that we wanted to give of the 5 major points, let's say, is knowing the rules. Formula Student car is not being built unsanctioned in any way. You need to follow the rules, you need to know the rule set. So one of the things that I always tell to new teams from, let's say, our southeastern part of Europe that are trying to enter this project, the really beautiful project we are all doing, is really get to know the rules. Do quizzes with your teams. Everybody needs to know everything in the beginning, because if you are not in a situation where everybody knows everything about everything, you will not be able to really understand the project that you are going into, and later transmit that knowledge to new people who are coming into the process because you motivated them enough to apply to the whole the project itself. Try to see what the other teams did wrongly in the beginning. There is a lot of posts on Reddit, there is a lot of things on YouTube that you can really find and talk with other teams in the end to know what they did wrongly, because I believe firstly that the Formula student community is really open community to everybody, which means that whichever team, most of the teams that you send an email to or call them or whatever, reach them out on Instagram, they will give you an advice that will be suited for your question exactly. And in the end, I see that the slide got a little bit different, but communication clarification. Communicate with officials. We as events are here to educate you. So in that regard, we are also here to help you learn. Formula Student is the biggest educational project in the world, and in that regard, use the knowledge that we have, because we have been working with this project for a long time, to gain our insights and ask us specific questions, because I'll be honest with you, nothing makes me happier when we see proactivity from teams who really ask us something that maybe we don't know to answer in the first part. If you manage to do it, you will have really good connections with the organizers, and you also have a really good time on the competition itself, because you'll leave a mark. As with a professor in a university, you know, it's always, nobody wants to sit in the first row, but those who sit in the end always have a little bit better grades. I never understood it when I started, but now I get it a little bit more.
Go to a competition.
Go to a competition, of course, yeah.
Maybe to add here from my side, I'm Alex from Formula Student Austria, and I'm the guy at the registration table. And I'm the kind of person, if you come to Formula Student Austria, where you really just show up and ask me anything, because that's basically why I'm there at the event. I take a week off for that, so that teams can come to me, and new teams are exactly the ones that should ask those questions. Doesn't matter what it's about, what kind of question it is. If it's the first day of the competition, you ask something about the dynamics, it's the right moment. If you ask it way before the competition, via email, half a year before, even better. Yeah. But really come to us, ask it, and also, like you already mentioned, visit other teams. So I think one of the best things you can do if you're a new team, or also a new assembled group inside a team, Christmas around the corner, visit other teams for a Christmas party. Really just get into the communication, because that's where you really learn. And yeah, I mean, I was a team captain myself. I know what kind of questions come up there. There are other teams who have experience, or then there are the people who organize the events that have been in the same shoes as you. So really, we just try to get you over the hill as fast as possible, so you can get to the points where we had to talk before about real performance, that you get into those steps as fast as possible, so you can care about winning and not about just getting something started.
Yeah, and learn how to read the documentation. Whatever the officials post, we do not post it because we want to post, I mean, we need to post it, but we post it because we want to help you. We want to help you, so when you come to the competition, you have all the knowledge that you have, and we can negate most of the questions, hopefully. That rarely happens, and guys who are doing team registrations are always having the same questions asked over and over, but that's also part of our work. When we are done with this, we have now a Q&A session if there are any questions. If there are not, thank you very much, you have been really kind. But we thought of that and we have additional topics. Yes. But don't worry, it's only a few of them. The first topic that we will continue talking, if anybody asks a question, we would be really thankful, because everybody else got a question, we still didn't. Thank you. The first thing is time management. Time management is one of the things that is quite important, because in the end you need to build a car hopefully in 1 or 2 years, as we said before. In order to do it, you need to have a time management plan. You need to have steps that we wrote down here in a way, but let's say it quite easily. You need to have your long-term plan, which is, of course, you need to build a car. You need to have your middle term plans, which are, you know, how to get the materials, when is the phase when you do R&D, when is the phase when you do manufacturing, when is the phase when you do testing, and when is the phase when you go to competitions. And the last part is really try to understand each of those phases really in a detailed way. If you know where your time is being spent and where you can lose time or gain time, you will be successful in the end. Yeah, okay, fine.
I can add something.
Yeah, just add something, please.
I think one of the most important things about time management is that everyone is on the same page, you know? Like it does not, or it's really important that the whole team follows the same time plan. It's not beneficial if half of the modules or sub-teams are already in manufacturing phase and one team is still designing something, because in the end it needs to be really constructed into one car and assembled. And yeah, well, so the chassis is ready in January, but the rest of the car isn't finished until June, so it doesn't really matter. Really time your steps for all modules, so that in the end it gets assembled and the time plans align throughout all the sub-teams and modules in the team. This is, I think, very important also in resource management, because then you can really be as effective and efficient as you can be.
Perfect. Luca, you said you had a question.
Yeah. So, question: how can you cultivate a good team culture? So not just to attract like new team members, but how to keep them if, let's say, they're not wanting to be there 100% of the time. What can you do to like make good team to succeed, especially in the beginning?
It's like a question for another topic. Firstly, you need to understand there will be always people in the team who are working more and people who are working less. I think that the first question that I always asked to every other team that I came to network with when I was a part of a team was how many active and inactive team members you have. And everybody makes a little laugh when they hear that question, because it's something that we all face. But to answer your question quite simply, I think it's a matter of friendship in the end, because nobody is getting paid to work this job. Everybody here is connected by their love for motorsport, for engineering, for activism, and for research and innovation in the end. So if you don't have enough motivation on your own to be a part of this project on your own, and you need some major external motivation by all others who are on the team, then probably you are not that active guy in the team that you should be, and maybe you should firstly start with yourself in a way. But yeah, exactly.
But what if you have no friends?
But it's also a good point, because we
You
knew
get
a lot
friends.
of guys who came to the project to gain friends, and in the end the friendships that you gain are the friendships that we still have. I still remain close with the guys that were in the team from 2013, 2014 when I began. So, but you need to find like a clicker that you have that is common.
Yeah, adding to this, it's the same for me. People from 20 years ago are still my dearest group of friends. And I was often asked from new team members, how much time should I invest in the team? And the answer to this is, the more you invest, the more you get out of it. And it's up to you. If you just invest a little bit of time, then your outcome in friendship, in success, in whatever, will not be so much. But this applies to all different kinds of tasks you have in life. If you invest just a little bit of your time to university, you probably will not finish it. If you just invest a little bit of time in a Formula Student project, the outcome will be not so much as possible. And I think most of the people here in this room have invested a little bit more time than average. And that's why we are here, and we are still having fun with it and drinking a beer together. So.
I think that we have only about 5-10 minutes left, so we'll just go to 2 or 3 slides. Testing, I think that you covered testing a lot in your presentation, so we'll just skip through it, but don't. I have a really nice anecdote regarding testing that will last for 30 seconds. We had a situation when we were testing a few days before our main competition in 2017, which was the best result that we made as a team in Rijeka, and our engine had a massive failure a few days before the competition. We managed to fix everything that was wrong, and in the end we finished the competition with the best possible endurance result ever. Don't be sad if something breaks during testing. The whole point of testing is that you break everything that you can. Because if you break everything that you can and some things break more, you have spares and you can fix quickly on the competition. That's the multi-sport way. The thing that Alex talked about, networking with other teams, use the community that the Formula Student world has, share the knowledge, collaborate, support, build relationships, go to other teams, invite other teams to yourself, show them a little bit of your local culture, have fun, make friends, and in the end, really try to learn from them. And also, if you know something that you think they don't know, tell them. Don't be an ass, right? Learning from failures, I think that is the last thing that we do. In order to achieve any type of success, you need to fail, and you need to fail a lot. And that is, I think, a topic of every single motivational seminar in the world, where they tell you that you need to fail, but this project really teaches you that. We have a question.
We have a question. What is the importance of beer and drinking in general in the team?
The most important. Beer connects people. Drinking in a way.
We lost somehow the live stream, so audio is already available.
Okay, audio is okay. Okay, we lost the live stream because beer question came, and the live stream understood it's time to drink. Yeah. From my point, team buildings, making pancakes together, whatever, is a way that you bring the team spirit together, where you gain that friendships that also Franz talked about. And if you gain that friendship, you have something emotional in the game. And when you have something emotional in the game, you work 10 times more. And then failures and everything else is just not that hard, because firstly, if you are with a lot of friends, and if you do something stupid and you fail, you'll have 75 excuses why you were not wrong. But in the end, in those excuses, you'll also find a reason how to do something better. Have fun as much as possible. Don't drink too much, because that's bad.
Don't drink too less.
And don't drink too less, of course. And drink after you have done your work. In that regard, thank you for watching, and thank you for being with us. I think that we can end this a little bit earlier. I can also say that anybody in this room, if he wants to add something to this presentation, they can. If not, okay, not. Thank you, and if you have any questions, you know where we are. Bye-bye. Thank you.